All right, today we're jumping right into something big. A political earthquake, really, that's shaking China's military to its very core. We're talking loyalty, betrayal, and a purge that has now reached the absolute highest levels of power.
Now get this. This quote, this isn't from some outsider, some critic in the West. No, this came directly from the official newspaper of the People's Liberation Army itself. I mean, that is an absolutely brutal takedown of one of their own. It just screams that there's a huge crisis happening, and it goes all the way up.
And you might be wondering, okay, who are they talking about? Some low-level guy? Not even close. The person at the very heart of this storm is the most senior general in the entire military, and he's a guy who was always thought to be untouchable. Why? Because he was supposedly Xi Jinping's closest, most loyal ally.
So let's get into it. Who is this guy, the one Xi handpicked, and why is his downfall causing such a massive stir, not just in Beijing but all over the world?
Okay, to really get this, you gotta understand the power structure. At the very, very top, you've got Xi Jinping. He's the chairman of what's called the Central Military Commission, or CMC. Think of the CMC as the ultimate authority. It controls the entire military. And who's right below Xi? His number 2? That's General Zhang Youxia. For a guy in uniform, you literally cannot get any higher.
And that's why this whole thing is such a shocker. Zhang isn't just some desk jockey. He's 75 years old. They kept him on way past the normal retirement age, which was seen as this huge sign of trust from Xi. Plus, this guy has actually seen combat. He's a veteran of the Vietnam border wars. For years, everyone just assumed he was Xi's rock, his most trusted guy in the military.
So, what did he supposedly do? Well, officially, the language is super vague. But the unofficial leaks, they paint a picture that's way more dramatic and honestly, a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, this phrase right here, serious violations of discipline and law. This is total party speak. It's their go-to catch-all phrase. It could mean he took a bribe, or it could mean he was plotting a coup. It can mean pretty much anything they want it to mean. You know, for a long time before Xi, corruption was just rampant in the military. So this kind of phrase became the classic first step before someone got taken down.
But then you get the unverified reports. And this is where the story just explodes. It goes from a normal corruption thing to something with huge global implications. We're talking allegations reported by the Wall Street Journal that he leaked nuclear secrets to the US, and also that he took massive bribes to promote people. So you see the range here, right? It's everything from simple greed to straight-up treason.
Okay, to really get why this is such a big deal, we need to pull the camera back a bit, because this isn't happening in a vacuum. It's not a one-off. This is the climax of a long and pretty brutal campaign.
You can just see how it's escalated. It all kicks off back in 2012, right when Xi takes over. Then, things go into overdrive in 2023. They go after the elite rocket force, you know, the guys with the nukes. By the end of that year, boom, 8 top generals are gone, and now, here we are. The purge has finally hit Xi's own number 2. With every step, the net gets tighter and tighter around the very center of power.
All right, I want to put this in perspective for you with just one number. A single, powerful number. 7. That's it. Just 2 years ago, 7 men were put on that powerful Central Military Commission, the one we talked about, that runs everything.
Now, look at this. Of those 7 guys, a whopping 71% of them, that's 5 out of the 7, are now gone, purged or under investigation. So who's left standing? Just 2 people, Xi Jinping and the guy running the anti-corruption probe. Think about that. The entire command structure that Xi himself built has been completely hollowed out. It raises some massive questions about whether the military can even function effectively. So all of this, it brings us to the big question, right? The Xi Jinping question. What does all this chaos really tell us about his grip on power?
And this quote from Lyle Goldstein really nails the paradox here. You could look at this one of 2 ways. On the one hand, maybe it just shows how powerful Xi is, that absolutely no one is safe. But on the other hand, you could see it as a huge failure of his own judgment. I mean, he's the one who picked these guys. He promoted them. So why did he keep getting it so wrong?
Now, it's easy to see this as just, internal Chinese politics, but it's so much more than that. The chaos inside China's military has real and potentially very dangerous consequences for the entire world. Believe me, diplomats and security experts everywhere are watching this like a hawk, and for good reason. First, you've got the stability of a nuclear superpower on the line. When the guys in charge of the nukes keep disappearing, the risk of a terrible mistake goes way up. Then there's Taiwan.
Is a military leadership that's constantly looking over its shoulder really in a position to launch a massive, complex invasion? Probably not. And that instability could even lead to a conflict with the US by accident, right? A jumpy commander could easily overreact, so yeah, this is way more than just a political shakeup. It's a global destabilization event.
Which brings us back to the central mystery of it all. On the surface, every time a general falls, it looks like Xi is getting even more powerful. But is he really? By surrounding himself only with the survivors, is he actually building a stronger, more loyal military? Or is he just building a fragile house of cards, where everyone is motivated by fear, not real loyalty? The answer to that question is going to shape China's future, and maybe all of ours too.